Who read Plum News this morning? Any comments on our movie selections? I have. We talked about conflict in marriage. My wife and I went to a comedian Michael Jr. an evening on conflict about with marriage, and instead of compromising and trying to avoid conflict, leaning in, but primarily asking, why does that thing bother me? So instead of allowing the external to affect our mental health, turn it around on yourself and say, why does it bother me that my spouse does this or that, or my better half does this or that? Instead of, why do they do it? Turn it back on yourself. Why does it bother me? So, and he told that through lots of jokes and comedy, and it was a really, really fun night. So that's Michael Jr. So we thought, with the movie Eternity that just came out, that we would do an issue based on conflict in marriage, and how do you make the right choice? How do you choose the right person? And so Eternity, if you've seen it, put a comment in the chat. We can talk about it. Who has seen Mom's Night Out? That's another movie that's not entirely about marital conflict. It's about a bunch of moms trying to get a break from their kids, and the husband's giving them that break. But then all chaos breaks out because it's a comedy, and everything must go wrong that can go wrong in a comedy. All right. And then, so we do have at Plumb Tales, we do have a big announcement. On June 1st, we have reserved a theater in downtown Memphis, and we will be setting up an online event through eventive.org if you want to check them out. And it'll be an evening of Plum Shorts. So if you've been following along on Plum News, the plum is a weight that's on a string, always points to true vertical. So there's an aspect of these stories that, are pointing to God's truth, absolute truth. But the tales part of it means that it's entertainment, and we always put God first, but then we put entertainment second, and we put preaching last. So if you have a short film that raises the deeper questions of the human experience, has a Christian worldview, but is entertainment first, let us know. Send us a email to today@plum-news.com, or you can drop a DM in a comment in the YouTube, and we're also on Instagram and Facebook if you want to look for Plumb Tales. All right, and then exciting news for Connor. They got nominated for the International Christian Film Festival. They had 5 nominations, so let me pull those up for you. Turn that off, turn that on, turn that on. And congratulations to Best Director nomination, Andrew Huff. Best Lead Actress, Geely Gold. Best Supporting Actress, Libby Smallbone. Best Cinematography, Chris McKechnie. And Best Musical Score, Kenji Stanley. So those are all nominations. They didn't win, but the awareness that is received by the audience and the fans and social media for the nominations is pretty positive. So we're excited for them, and we hope that they continue to build the snowball rolling down the mountain and finding and building their audience. And just to remind you, they are now on Angel.com, Angel Studios. Next up, we have the Gutter Gospel. A little bit of an update for you there. Mike Smith was a former veteran, and he struggled with mental illness, and he was medically discharged, and he ended up on the streets as a homeless man. And he is not shy to talk about his experience. but he's also not shy to talk about the redemption he experienced. And he's written a novel, and we're excited to help him connect with other filmmakers, a screenwriter and a producer, and bring his novel to the world as a feature film. So check him out at theguttergospel.com. Let's see here. Oh, and also his book is completely free. If you go to theguttergospel.com/home, you can get more information and request a copy of the novel. All right. So that's exciting news all around. Let's go to Barely Biblical. And Barely Biblical, Tim Engel is the creator of Barely Biblical, and he now has a merch store up. So go there and check out. He's got a card game called Sons of the Anakim. If you don't know who the Anakim are one of the tribes of giants in the Bible. In Genesis 6:4, the sons of God slept with the daughters of women and formed the Nephilim, who were whose offspring were the giants. And there's at least half a dozen tribes in the Bible. Then these giants settled in various parts of the Middle East. So one of them is the Anakim, and I can't wait to see what a teddy bear version of an Anakim looks like, and the rules of the game. So go there and you can buy a calendar, you can buy mugs and t-shirts, and also this card game. So that is Barely Biblical. And let's see, Race Car Monks has gone radio silent because they have raised $277,000 of their $4 million goal, and they are now shooting a proof of concept. So can't wait to show that, and I'm going to ask them, and maybe they will be a part of the evening of short Plumb Tales on June 1st. Wouldn't that be exciting? And we can support them. And then lastly, we'll talk about Pray for Mason, the feature film that I am producing along with Brandon Riley. We shot a proof of concept in Memphis a couple of years ago, and now we have a new energetic team that is going to redo the trailer, starting with the teaser. We're redoing the teaser, and then we're going to upgrade and finish the short to the standard of excellence that we know it can be. And part of that will be hosting a contest for story ideas to give it a redemptive ending. When we shot, here I'll come back to me. When we shot the short film, we shot 7.5 pages out of a 10-page script. So we don't have an ending. And we thought, well, we could stick to the ending and do reshoots, or we could open it up to the audience and get their ideas on what would be a redemptive ending for a bunch of teens that are trying to initially defend themselves against a monster, and then they decide that they want to practice the kind of love that Jesus mentioned when he said, love your enemies. And Jesus was always elevating things. Don't just love your neighbor, that's easy to do. How do you love your neighbor? Well, that's not so hard. How do you love your enemy? That's the challenge. And in our case, how do you love the bully who wanted to reconcile but overdosed on a zombie drug? So, that could go a lot of different ways, and we want to see how what kind of a redemptive ending you guys could come up with. And then in other news, we have launched, if you go to prayformason.com, we are pre-selling, we're reserving frames in the movie. So there's thousands of frames in a movie, and we're going to put a watermark with your name on any frame that you choose. You can own it, and that frame then becomes your ticket to the screening party for the short on June 1st, and to the feature when it's finished later in 2026 or possibly early 2027. But also, it'll give you access to a Discord community where you can find out about hiring for crew or auditions for cast, and possibly I would love to host a rap party with you all also online. And as always, whenever there's something online, there will be an opportunity to be boosted to a VIP experience. And some of that will be through contests and giveaways, and some of that will be through upsells, where if you want to be a part of the live cast and crew experience in the theater and the Q&A afterwards with the filmmakers and the cast, then $5.99 gets you a frame, which is a ticket to the online experience. And we'll be creating opportunities for homes and youth groups and whatever to host groups. But also, if you want to be live in the theater, there'll be opportunities presented for that. So it's all very exciting, and I think that's all the news we have this week. We want to keep these updates short and sweet. I don't see anyone in the chat, and I don't see any technical concerns on my texting messaging, and it sounds like we've got a good summary going here. I'll put show notes in the live stream, and we'll see you next Sunday, God willing. All right, over and out.